All those in favor of Ryan Coonerty being the next mayor of the city of Santa Cruz, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, passes unanimously.
Mr. Tomasi.
You can give him his first warning.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's my first time that you're not going to get warned for that. I want to first thank Cynthia for her kind words, and I also want to note that her mother, Pat, would be sitting in the front row tonight, but she passed away a couple weeks ago, and she was a wonderful member of our community, and her presence is missed tonight and every night. I want to congratulate Emily for a wonderful year representing our city with the enthusiasm that you could see in her speech. At every event, you could see that she loved being there, loved representing our city, and she did a fantastic job as mayor. And I want to thank the rest of the city council because they're a wonderful committed group of people who are a joy to work with on a daily basis and absolutely committed to the city. I have to recognize friends who have traveled from near and far to be here tonight. Some of them are wearing white shirts that I may never forgive them for. And I can't tell if they're here to celebrate or if they can't quite believe the voters selected the same guy they went to high school or college with. But I appreciate their support. I also have to thank my family who might make up about half the members of the audience tonight. And in Santa Cruz generally, it seems like on some days. Their love and support has been tremendous from day one, and it's wonderful. And I have to say hi to my grandmother Ann, who's watching on TV tonight. I think most of us get into politics because of the humanness of the experience. We love the knocking on doors and talking to our neighbors, attending community meetings. We imagine our victories will be one citizen at a time, a life improved by access to social services or a newly created job. Sometimes our aspirations grow to include making a neighborhood safe or protecting an open space. One of the surprises of elected life is the opportunity to see the community from a distance, from the altitude of 20-year general plans and long-term water reports, to see the extraordinary systems that, when well designed and managed, are nearly invisible, yet their impacts are profound and often taken for granted. The following, I hope, is a glimpse of our community through these systems. Each number has a rationale, a history, and a narrative behind it. And they're just numbers, but in some way they're, I think, a measure of us. Today in the city of Santa Cruz, the sun rose at 6:59 this morning, and it set at 4:53. The weather was a warm, clear November day with 10-mile-an-hour winds, causing waist-high swells that were big enough to allow a couple dozen surfers to bail on work and surf the lane. Today in the city of Santa Cruz, approximately 57,553 people woke up in 21,500 residences. About half owned the house or condo they awoke in. 11% were affordable units. 55.8% of our residents have lived in Santa Cruz County for more than 20 years. Today, most of these Santa Cruzans will go to work at one of the 31,300 jobs in the 2,816 businesses in the city. Thousands more will commute over the hill, and nearly 20% of our population will attend school. Today, 7,061 students attended Santa Cruz Public Schools. That's almost 2,000 fewer students than attended 10 years ago. Our elementary school students are more proficient in English and math than they were last year, and the year before that, and the year before that. Today, 15,360 students attended UCSC and took one or more of the 506 classes offered on Tuesday and Thursdays this quarter. These courses included classes on the human genome, adaptive optics, jazz and culture, ethics and eugenics, artificial intelligence and games, transnational migration, and even a course on Jews' anti-Semitism in the American legal system from a professor who wasn't his normal informative self because he was up late working on this speech. As we speak, hundreds of Santa Cruzans are taking job training, language, and parenting classes tonight through adult education in Cabrillo College. Today in the city of Santa Cruz, we will walk, drive, or bike on 135 miles of roads. This year, 20 miles of roads were repaired through Measure H funds, a feat that will be repeated each year for the next 4 years. Today, the city's water district will provide 9 million gallons to our customers. Because of conservation measures, that's 12% less than we provided a decade ago. Today, Santa Cruzans will patronize 258 restaurants and coffee shops. This will, in part, produce 10 million gallons of wastewater that will be treated before it's released into the ocean. We'll also produce 50 wet tons of biosolids for composting and reuse today. Don't ask me what a wet solid is. Speaking of waste, the city will collect 135 tons of refuse and 71 tons of recycling and green waste. That's 16 fewer tons of trash and 28 more tons of recycling than we collected 5 years ago. I should note that part of this effort of the speech and all these statistics is to prove to our city manager, Dick Wilson, that city council members actually understand numbers, because he often calls that into question, especially around budget time.